on a human rights delegation, which is what we are and were, you cannot tell that to Israel or they'll throw you out summarily. But they knew we were a human rights delegation anyway, and we had a story about a half truth, or we told them half the truth, that we were there as tourists, tourism of a different kind, and that we would be in Israel, which is true, we would be in Jerusalem and certainly Tel Aviv. But we didn't tell them about the West Bank part, security threat. As a matter of fact, to them we are, because they do not want the reality of Palestine known to the outside world. And that was our point, was to go there and talk with people and see life as it is and bring that word back. And so I suppose, from their point of view, it is a security threat.
I'm very disappointed that we were refused entry to Israel, and I'm very outraged that that happened, and by the way that we were treated at the airport and then in the jail, and the way that we were denied information about the support that we had back at home. An organized delegation where we were going to be meeting with people in order to hear about their lives and their struggles, so that we could bring their stories back to the United States, so that we could tell people about what the reality is about the Israeli occupation and what the U.S. role is in funding the aggression and the occupation of land and the confiscation of resources, and really just the total control of Palestinian lives that happens on a day-to-day basis. A man who had questioned me called me back in, and he showed me on his computer screen the Anti-War Committee website where it describes the delegation, and he was yelling at me about that, and he took a book that I had when I went in there. It was a travel to Israel book. He took it away and he was pounding it on his counter, and he threw it on the floor, and he was yelling about, "Don't lie to me about what you're doing here." And I said, I'm not lying to you. We're here to visit all those places, out everything. And there were about 15 security officers that searched through every single item that we had, and then they searched us individually, and one person was strip searched, or like partially. Not either of us, but that happened to the other person that was with us. And then we were told that we were going to have to, after that whole process, we were told we were going to have to get on the plane. So at the jail, they put us in separate rooms, and they wouldn't let us have anything in there. I asked if I could have a notebook and a pen, and they said no, they wouldn't let me have a book or a pen or paper or anything like that. Some food, but they wouldn't. I kept asking if I could talk to Sarah. They wouldn't let me talk to her. I kept asking if I could make a phone call, and they said, "Who do you want to call?" And I said, "I want to call a friend back home, and I want to call my husband." And they said no, and they said, "You can't make any calls." And it was very frustrating, because repeatedly when we would try to ask for any information, they would not answer, or they would just start talking to each other in Hebrew, so we couldn't understand. Finally, they did say, "You're going to go on the plane in 1 hour." And they came and got us, and they put us in separate cars so that we couldn't even talk to each other. They led Sarah to the plane and had her on the plane for like 5 minutes before they would even let me get out of the car. They wouldn't give me my passport back until the plane had already taken